Alright, welcome back to the guide and playthrough for Majora's Mask. In the last part, we went and got the Chimero's Mask and another piece of heart. And this time, we're going to go into the Woodfall Temple and hopefully make a decent amount of progress through it. So the first thing you're going to notice when you walk in here is that there's one of these fairies over here. Interesting fact about these fairies, they were only ever used one other time in the whole Zelda franchise, which was in Four Swords, I believe, for certain tutorial stages. Or at least the Anniversary Edition. Another fairy in there if you need it. So as you can see, when you wear this mask, it'll give off these sparkles. Those sparkles will appear if there's another stray fairy in the room. So always put it on before you leave a room to make sure you have all the fairies in that room. In the 3DS version, there were a couple differences. There was a save statue right here, not a teleport statue, just a save statue. And the fairies were green and gave a different reward in that version. Not sure why it was changed once again, but I guess it was a lot better of a reward that I guess they just wanted to give to you early. That's probably why. Always a good idea to shoot those beehives down. Sometimes they contain magic, and I believe a few of them in this dungeon have fairies in them as well. But remember, the bubbles are pretty inaccurate, so you're going to have to be careful with aiming or just shoot them from up close. Let's open up this chest and get second fairy. Fairies are kind of hard to get without using the Great Fairies mask, so I recommend every time you see one, you put it on and then they'll just be immediately drawn to you. As you can see, the sparkles have gone out, which means there are no more stray fairies in this room. You're always going to want to get all 15 stray fairies from every single temple because they all give really great rewards. Well, this one is probably the worst out of all four, but all the other three are very worth your time. You definitely want to get them. As I said, in the 3DS version, it would be the second temple where the reward is the worst, not this one. Tattle's telling us that this place smells like the poisonous swamp, which means that water down there is poisonous. Don't fall in it. That's pretty much instant death because it's very hard to get out of that poisonous water. Deku Link can just hop across it, though. I have some more Deku Babas here. Just spin into them and get another fairy. Don't worry about getting all the fairies in this room. You can't do it yet because this is the central hub area of the dungeon. Those flowers right there will eat you and do a whole ton of damage if you're playing as Human Link, but you can just hop right across them as Deku Link. Don't worry about it. Over there, there's some more pots. We're going to want to spin into these, see what they have. I believe one of them has a stray fairy. Yeah, there it is. Fourth one. The only door open in this area is this one, so you're going to want to come down here, hop across those flowers, and go inside. More of these flowers in here. Remember not to go near them as Human Link. They do a lot of damage. Heck, just don't be Human Link whenever there's this poisonous water around because it's very difficult to get out of it, especially in this area. Alright, one thing you might notice in this room is up there's a beehive. Shoot it down with a bubble. And there's a stray fairy inside. Well, that's what I get for not following my own advice, I suppose. Actually, it might be a good idea. You might notice that I pretty much always keep the ocarina equipped to down. I use left for the masks and right for the items. But this time I'm going to keep the Great Fairy's mask on down and the Deku mask on left. Because we will not be using the ocarina in this dungeon. Another thing, if you play the Song of Soaring in a dungeon, it'll take you right to the entrance, so if you need to get out quickly and save, remember that. Once again, in the 3DS version, at the entrance to every dungeon, there's a statue that can save your progress. Don't know why more modern Zelda games are doing that, where you used to just be able to save anywhere, and now they're making you save at statues, but oh well, much better than the saving in the original Majora's Mask. I'd say that's probably this game's greatest flaw, unfortunately, because that makes it, basically, if I make any kind of mistake, I can't reset very easily. Especially with a lack of video editing. So as you notice, to kill those turtles, you just dive into these flowers and launch out at them. You're going to want to come into this room, get them all, and then claim the reward. We also got the dungeon map back there. I forgot to mention that. That basic... Oh, no, wait. We didn't get the dungeon map back there. My bad. What did we get back there again? Okay, forget it. It must not have been anything important then. This is the dungeon map, that's what I was thinking of. This basically adds a mini-map to the corner of the screen there, as you can see, for the whole dungeon. But since we don't have a certain other item yet, we aren't able to see, where exactly we are. Now I remember, that chest had a key in it. Those keys can open any locked door, but they only work in each dungeon, as the text box tells you. So, like, we can't say, take this small key to some other dungeon and use it there. I believe in the original Legend of Zelda you could do that, but not in any of the other ones. Which is good, because it'd be pretty easy to just sort of screw yourself over if you were able to do that. So just use that key on this door here. Notice there's a block. Yeah, Deku Link can push blocks, even if they're constantly saying that he's all super light and pretty weak and kind of just even younger than regular Link is. He can still push blocks, so don't... Or at least certain blocks. Kill that Skulltula, grab another fairy, and you'll see that there's a fairy in the bubble underneath this platform. This fairy's location was changed in the 3DS version. I don't remember to where off the top of my head. Just don't bother coming back here later for it if you're playing that one. Torch is still warm, so we're going to want to light that somehow. Also, another thing, if you ever see a fairy in one of those bubbles, you can't attract it to you with the Great Fairy's mask. So don't even bother. Oh, right, we had to use a different torch. My bad. So just remember that that torch is up there, as it will be important for later. So now that we've created a bit of a path from that torch to this one, what you're going to want to do is pull out a Deku Stick. Deku Link can't use Deku Sticks, so you have to be in human form for this one. Be especially careful not to fall in the poisonous water. And when you get the torch, these moth things will start chasing you and doing a quarter heart of damage every few seconds. No idea how moths are supposed to hurt you, but they do. Alright, once you've opened that door, immediately put away the Deku Stick, pull it out again, relight it, and then run up this way. So I don't think that torch stays lit, but this one does. So just light that one and it'll stay there. Gonna want to run over this way and go through this door. And we have a few dragonflies in here. Yeah, that's what they're called, dragonflies. Alright, here's another big chest. These large golden-looking chests always have some kind of important item in them. When the smaller, less important-looking ones, they usually just have things like rupees or ammunition for weapons, stuff like that. Never mind, I guess that fire does stay there. It stays up there too, that's good. Oh, actually, one more thing. Before you leave this room... Actually, never mind. We're going to be coming back for that later because we have to come back in here to get that stray fairy anyway. If you shoot down those beehives down there with the Deku bubbles, I believe there's another stray fairy inside them. But we will be getting a more accurate ranged attack in this dungeon, so I'm going to say we're just going to be getting those when we come back for the fairy underneath the thing when it's no longer poisoned. Because it's not very fun times to aim that stupid bubble at short distances. That thing is very inaccurate. I sense a lot of evil here. So basically, there's a lot of just little small enemies in this room. Black bows. You gotta kill all of them, I believe. And yeah, the lighting in here is just awful, which I don't like. That's another thing that the 3DS version has that's superior to this one, is the lighting. Everything's way brighter in that version. You can actually, tell where you're going in rooms like this. Also, the camera's way too close to Link. I can't say I like that. As you can see, I'm kind of getting destroyed here by these stupid little things. Just kind of run around like a ballerina and spin into them with your hat. Like I said, in 3DS one, it was changed to this weird spike ball thing. Alright, so now just walk around the border of this room and light all these torches. Sorry once again about the bad lighting. That's just the game. The 3DS version fixed this room. But in this version, I have to deal with all of this. Once you kill all the black bows, a chest will appear in the center. I can't even see the chest. Guess I'll just have to use the mini-map. Okay, there it is. Found it. Stray Fairy. Stray Fairies also restore a small amount of health, as you can see. Alright, go around the perimeter of the room and light all these torches. You do get a little more light from the fire, so remember that. I believe there are more torches in the 3DS version, or at least it certainly seemed like there were. I hate this room. This is probably my least favorite room in this game, to be honest. And this is one of the Zelda games that does not have the lamp in it, so there's no way to light this up, and the fire does a pretty poor job of it. There we go. There's only 3 torches. And the way is open. That thing away. If you put a Deku stick away when it's on fire, it won't burn. Alright, so this room kinda sucks. There's a lot of holes in the floor that'll drop you back into the hub of the dungeon. So what you want to do is try to shoot down these dragonflies with these incredibly inaccurate bubbles, may I add. Actually, wait, are there any stray fairies in here? There are not. Alright, since the dragonflies seem to... Oh, never mind, there's one right there. Please don't knock me down. Just gonna land on this platform without diving into the flowers and hopefully shoot these guys down. Because they can knock you down below, and if you fall down not the whole floor, but certain pits down there will drop you down to the lower floor. Alright, got them both. Should be fine now. One other thing that you might notice about this dungeon is that the music is not great. Generally, Majora's Mask has a really nice soundtrack, but all of the dungeon themes, except for one in particular, are not very good. So yeah, don't expect to be hearing very much good dungeon music from this game. If you've already played this, you probably know exactly what I'm talking about by the really good other dungeon song. But that song is actually like my favorite song in this whole game, besides maybe the Song of Healing. So just remember that. Not too important or anything, but yeah. So now, as you can see, we're back in this hub room here. So, now that we're back in sort of a more familiar room, I think I'm going to end this part here. Thanks for watching and hope you found it helpful.